Welcome to Shaped by Faith with your host, Theresa Rowe. To find out more about Shaped by Faith and Theresa Rowe, please visit shapedbyfaith.com or visit the YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. And now, here is Theresa Rowe.
Welcome to Shaped by Faith. I'm Theresa Rowe, where we shape our bodies and hearts for God's purposes. I have a special guest today. Her name is Alison McFarland. She's the owner of Happy Art Studio in my hometown, Owensboro, Kentucky. So her studio offers so much, like painting and pottery, classes and camps and parties and team building events, and just all kinds of creative experiences for children and also for adults of all ages. Happy Art Studio provides a welcoming place, and I can attest to that. You walk in and you just feel relaxed. I mean, you just feel like this is going to be good. Your imagination can flourish in this studio, and I've personally enjoyed bringing my grandchildren to the studio. They're older, they're 12 and soon to be 16, and they loved it. So Allison is going to share her passion for art with each one of us and how this all began for her and what led her to open up Happy Art Studio. Welcome to Shape by Faith, Allison.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And I love your studio. If you're watching on podcast, you can see some of it behind her. And like I said, I love it. It's just, you're so welcoming, Allison. You're nice. You make people feel comfortable. And that's a gifting. Not everyone has it. So thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah. So let's kind of go back to your childhood and just like I'm always curious. Have you always loved art?
Yes. Ever since I can remember, as a kid, I always had a pencil or a crayon running around my hand, and making messes. And yeah, I've always loved art.
Was there anyone in particular, like teachers or family members or a neighbor or someone like that, that encouraged your creativity?
Yeah, so my grandmas, who were both really great artists, they would watch us a lot while my parents worked, especially during the summers and things. And my one grandma always had a box of everything she could think of. Like, it was cardboard, paint, crayons, and she would order these highlight for children magazines, and I would always flip to the art section, and we would make these crafts together. And my sister would get bored probably after 30 minutes, but I could sit there all day just making things. And then my other grandma, they would take turns watching us, and she was a great oil artist, and we would make paper dolls together, and she would bring home these little food containers, and we'd make them into spaceships, and our paper dolls would go, out exploring. So I was very blessed with great family who really installed that creativity in me and let me make as big of a mess as I wanted to and explore all the different kinds of art.
Oh, those are some wonderful memories. And how great is that? Because, some people may not want the mess, in
Yes.
the house. And so, how awesome is that? God placed you with just the right grandparents to inspire your creativity. Was there any certain painting or like you mentioned oil painting? Did you like oil painting or watercolor? What was your preference as a kid growing up?
So I would kind of bounce around from art medium to art medium. I first loved painting and finger painting and trying watercolors, and my grandma would let me help her with some of her oil paintings, like making little marks. And then I would go to sculpture, and I love to make things out of cardboard. And my grandma would let me use a hot glue gun with her sitting there, of course. So we would make, I mean, all kinds of things together. It wasn't just painting, it was a lot of sculpture too.
That's amazing. So you were exploring every avenue regarding art. Did you ever imagine, like as a kid, did you ever think when I grow up, I want to own my own art studio?
So as a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. So I just thought that was the coolest thing. But whenever I got older in high school and college, yes, I remember when I first got into college, they gave us this list and they wanted to write us, have us write down goals. And I remember that was one of my goals. I didn't know how to word it then, but I just remember putting down a place where people can get creative together without any judgment and kind of creating like a community. I didn't know it would be like a studio. I didn't know exactly what it would be at that time, but I just knew that was something that I wanted to do.
So did your love for art then turn into a career? Did you go into a career with art?
Yes. So when I went to college, I went there on a music scholarship, and they had us take all these different electives.
Hmm.
And one of them was a watercolor class. And I was just hooked. Like from then on, all my other studies went went back to the foreground, and I would stay up late making all these watercolor paintings. And then I took pottery, and so I switched majors to art and art education. And I taught for a little while in art and humanities, and I had a blast. It was so fun.
So okay, so you were a teacher, you were teaching art, humanities, like you said. So then you opened up a business. So was there a defining point in your life where you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go for this? I mean, what led to you opening up your own happy art studio?
So I was talking about it, and as much as I loved teaching and other jobs that I had, because I went into as a vet tech for a little while and really enjoyed that too.
Oh, okay.
But I just had it like I loved the people that I worked with. I loved my bosses. I made some of the best friends I've ever made in my life, but I didn't love I wasn't as passionate about the job,
Mm,
like I loved certain aspects of it, but it wasn't fulfilling to me. And
see.
so I was talking about it with my dad, and I said, I don't, I love everyone around me, I love everyone I work with, but there's something missing.
Mm,
And I said, I've always wanted to open an art studio or a place where people come together, and we both thought about it for a while, and we thought, why not, and I felt like this heaviness on my heart had lifted, that I just knew that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And it just kind of worked out from there. And I'm so happy it did, because if I had tried to open it, I feel like at any other time earlier,
hmm.
that I wouldn't have been successful because I didn't have all those experiences, and I always pray, and I'm like, God, if this is the wrong door, just close it, shut it. I don't want it. And I felt like that's kind of what was happening. Like these doors were closing, but I had another door opening. And I just felt like this is the time. And I feel like if I had gone any earlier, I wouldn't have these great friendships I have and these great experiences that have taught me how to run a business. So I feel like this was the perfect time. Like I've always wanted it earlier, but I'm so glad. God in His way said, you need to wait. You need to wait, and I'm glad I did, because I don't think it would be as successful.
I'm so glad you brought that up because God trains us up like you were in that teaching phase. So God was training you
Yes.
use those skills later on. And sometimes we don't realize that in the moment. Like, why am I here? I like the people, but like you said, I wasn't fulfilled. But God was training you up for His greater purposes, His divine purposes. I love that you pray and say, if this isn't it, Lord, close the door. We should all be doing that, Like, if this isn't the path, Lord, just take me off, place me where I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be. I mean, it's as simple as that. So I love that, Allison, that you prayed, you asked the Lord, and look at you now. So, Allison, you've opened up this business. was there any challenges? Like, what was your biggest challenge when you first opened up your business or even before?
So I think the biggest challenge was figuring out like business plans and marketing and finances. And I read a lot of books. I was at the library almost every day. They got to know me by name. And I sought out mentors, a lot of mentors who had been in this business, or even my dad who owned his own business. And he really helped me out a lot. And learning how to ask for help really came in handy, because sometimes you just need a little help. You need a little
That's right.
mentorship. So that
Absolutely.
helped me immensely.
Well, looking back, were there any big surprises along the way?
So working for some place and then being the owner of a place,
Oh, yeah.
completely, two different things. So there's, you put in a lot more hours, but I also felt so filled with joy having this and finally having my dream come true that it didn't really feel like a work. So even though I spend a lot of hours here, and especially when I first started, I felt like I lived here. So it didn't feel like work though. It felt fun, it felt good. And even though my family missed me a lot, I had to find that work-life balance.
You probably had a bedroom in the back there where you just stayed overnight. Like I might as well stay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you do when you open your business. It's a part of who you are, and it's kind of like a baby that you're like trying to mature it up as you go along. You know, you got this baby, this just amazing little baby, and then it turns into a child, and you've really developed it, Allison. I mean, I wasn't there when you first opened your doors. But I remember hearing about it and I thought, what? Okay, what is this place? Okay, I have grandchildren. And so I need to figure out, maybe that's something that they want to do. So when people first enter your doors, what can they expect?
So I hope that they feel really welcomed. I try to meet everyone at the door as soon as they come in, and explain, what we're about and what they can do that day. And I just want everyone to know, like, it's a judgment-free zone. You can make any kind of art you want, I'll help you if you need help. So you can come in anytime, pick out some pottery, paint it. We have workshops. But the main thing is making sure everyone feels welcomed as soon as they come through that door.
Well, you do a great job with that. I know the first time I walked in with two of my grandchildren, a girl and a boy, I thought, we're just going to go in. I have no idea what this place is about. We're just going to go in and do something. And you were so nice, so welcoming, and you're like, hey, because I'm like, they maybe they want to paint something. And so, yeah, so they did. And they picked out, you have all these different items. Do you call those molds or what do you call those, Allison?
So those are called bisque. That
Oh,
just means it's been fired one time.
okay.
So after it's been fired, it's ready for the paint. And we have all different kinds of glazes. And um, whenever you come in, I show you how it works because they're just a little bit different from regular paint. And you can just, after I give you some tips and tricks on how to use them, then I mean, people have made some incredible things with their imagination. It's been awesome to watch. I mean, there's so many creative and talented people in the community, and even people who didn't realize they were creative. They've made like just incredible things, and I'm just really blown away by that.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw you have some things that were setting aside that people had already created and made and painted. And so I kind of scanned those shelves and looked over there and I'm like, there is no way I can do this. Like, how am I going to do this? But if you're on podcast, Allison, you remember this right here? See it?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did an amazing job. It's so
Oh.
beautiful.
Well, my granddaughter did a lot better job than I did, but I'm like, okay, I love plants in my home. I'm going to do a little planter. And I remember going to you saying, do you have a picture or something that I can go by? Because I have no idea. And my granddaughter's just going for it. She's over there just painting. She's like, Nana, just paint it. I'm like, no, I need a plan. I need a plan here. So I'm sure it's interesting to watch adults that maybe are a little hesitant, like I was, like, oh my gosh, and then watching, children and teens, like they just kind of like go for it. Like they don't have this fear of failure,
Yes.
because I wanted to make mine not perfect and I knew it wouldn't be perfect. I just wanted to make it good, good enough.
I
So
think that's a common fear too among adults. They do want to make sure that it looks like, what they have in their minds or maybe they've seen before.
absolutely. So what do you say to an adult when they say, Allison, like I can't even draw a stick figure or like I haven't painted anything before, on pottery. What do you say to them?
I first tell them take a deep breath. This is not a life or death situation. It's going to be fine. And then I say, this is all about creativity. It's more about the experience than the end product. And I said, just try it. And just if you don't know where to start, just start putting paint on. Don't worry about the colors, because you don't have to make it how it looks in real life. You can make it as many colors as you want, and especially with pottery, it's so forgiving because as soon as you put it in a kiln, it gets this really beautiful shine and glaze to it. And I mean, you can put anything on it. You can paint it black and brown, it'll still turn out beautiful. So I tell people just to dive in and try. And then I also have a book now, where, because we're visual creatures. We like to see what we're doing. So I put a book together with a lot of examples,
Oh,
so that people, maybe that if they have a plan or a way, a path to go, then that will make them feel more comfortable too.
absolutely. It did me. I can tell you
Yeah.
that. So how have you seen just children, painting and drawing and learning about pottery? How have you seen that just in the short amount of time that you're there with them? How have you seen it build their confidence?
So especially with children, they're so hungry to learn more and more and more.
Yep.
It's like they just want to suck in everything they can. So whenever I have a kids class or a camp, we go through how to like shade or how to build a different skill. And it's exciting to me because as soon as they learn it, they're just so excited about it. And then if a new kid comes the next week, I love watching them share that skill with the new kiddo that came into the class. And they're becoming little leaders. They're making their skills. They're have that critical thinking going on. And I love how they're compassionate toward other kids who maybe missed a class, and they fill them in and they show them how to do it. And to me, as like a teacher, I think that's the greatest thing. And that's the goal. You want the kids to learn to be able to teach other kids.
That's so
And
good.
yeah, I think it's amazing.
Such a joy just to walk into your studio to get to be a little creative with some paint or throw some, what is it called when you throw on the wheel, that pottery? We tried it.
Yes. Yeah, throwing pottery.
I found out, I already knew this about myself. I'm not patient. I think it takes some patience to mold something. That's okay. We're not all gifted at everything. But anyway, why don't you let everyone know what you offer from the time they walk in?
So you can walk in anytime that I'm open, which is Tuesday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You don't have to have an appointment. You just come on in, and we have about 10 different shelves just filled with all kinds of pottery. Like we have dishes, we have little jewelry, trinket boxes. I mean, anything you can imagine, we have it. So you can come in and paint one of those. We also offer like homeschool classes during school sessions. We have birthday parties, which are so fun. You can do pottery, you can do glow in the dark painting. We have a glow room back behind me, and it all lights up, and the paint glows. And both kids and adults love that. So I've had kid birthdays, but also have a lot of adult birthdays, and they're so fun. You could bring any outside food, drink that you want. I have a refrigerator in the back. We're very relaxed here. You can bring any kind of decorations you want. And then uh, through school breaks and things, we also offer kids camps and kids workshops, and they're always a lot of fun. But we also don't forget the adults. We have a lot of adult workshops too, as well as pottery classes. And we also have pottery wheel workshops. So if you didn't want to sign up for a whole 8-week class, you can come in for a couple hours and you learn how to throw. And that's always a lot of fun too. It's messy, but bring your best friends, bring your family, and it's always such a fun time. Like it's just so fun. Um, and we also have like corporate events. A lot of businesses will come to us for like team building. And you could really tell that people do come closer together because
Mm.
it's not so much about the finished product, it's more about the experience. And I always tell people that I'm like, as much as you love your finished creation, it's also about the experience with together, and the experience of trying something new. And that can also bring a lot of peace to your mind too.
Mm. Yeah, and it's a great memory. I mean, I hope my grandkids remember this when they get older, that that's something that we did together. And you were so patient with us when we were learning how to throw on the wheel. And yeah, you do get a little messy and don't wear jewelry, but you were right there with us in the grind with us. I love that. I love when people show how to do something at the same time and you're right beside them watching and you're also learning that. I think that's a really cool way to learn art is have the person like you that knows what you're doing show us how to do it. So that was a blast. And I think we would do that again. And I do have, well, I don't have a very big, they're little bitty ones. I should have brought them to show, but they look totally awesome when they are glazed, like you said before. What brings you the biggest joy out of all of this, Allison, owning your own business? You get to play around with art. You get to watch people experience art. What's your biggest joy in all this?
I think my biggest joy is when people come in and they're freaking out a little bit. Maybe they're like, I'm not artsy at all. I don't know what to do. And I see them relax. And I see like peace come over them, because when you're making art, it really does calm your mind. It
Yeah.
releases those feel good endorphins. And it just makes you happier. And then to see people find that happiness and then leave, laughing and having a good time. I think that's one of my greatest joys. And watching the kids too, because they're so creative. They can make a hippo with polka dots, It doesn't look anything like a hippo, but just watching their creativity flourish is amazing to me.
Absolutely. Kids are so creative and they don't have this fear of, oh my gosh, it's got to look fantastic, you know? What do you hope people experience when they come to Happy Art Studio?
I hope they come experience a judge-free zone, a place of community, of belonging, and a place where they can find peace for a little while. You know, they can quiet their minds and just kind of do. I mean, it's a form of self-care. You know, coming in and taking care of yourself. I think that's what that's one of the things I want Happy Art Studio to be known for.
Well, art is definitely therapy for the soul in the way that you do it. Like you said, it's judgment free. You can try out your creativity, whether it be you could paint a picture. And I love your what is that called behind you, where everything lights up?
That's our glow room. And you can come
Yeah,
in anytime and do that too. It doesn't have to be just a birthday party.
that's neat. You offer so much, Allison. I want to thank you so much. Where are you located?
We are at 227 Williamsburg Square. It's right across the street from Owensboro Christian Church.
Okay.
We're in that little strip mall, so you can't miss us. We have some big signage out front that says
Very
Happy Art
easy.
Studio.
Yeah, and easy to find. Allison, thank you so much for being a fantastic artistic guest on Shape by Faith.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to Shape by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapebyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shape by Faith products, and much more.